Welcome back, everyone, to Toulas Tips for Caregivers. My two guests today are Joyce Cruz and John Hamill, and we've been tackling some pretty difficult, sensitive subjects today. So hats off to you guys for being willing to come in and talk about some of this. I know for both of you it's still pretty fresh.
It is.
And hard to deal with. And Joyce, I know it's real hard for you. Bobby, if you haven't called back in yet, I would ask you to do that and give the producer your address and phone number so we can get those gift certificates to you. And I apologize for cutting you off. It sure didn't mean to do that. John, I know you want to talk a little bit about 4 steps of planning ahead.
It is. You know, when we meet people, there's only 2 types of families who come to our funeral home. That's the first family who sat and talked to somebody of knowledge, made some basic decisions. There's only 2 ways of leaving this world: burial or cremation. And you start to put together a plan. We call that reflect. That's the first step of 4. Reflect about what you want to do. That's your decision. That should be your decision, and you should make that one if you can. The second step is to record some vital, important information. And Joyce and I were talking before the show started about, I wish I could have recorded my mom's life and put it in her lap for all the caregivers who came across her life to say, this is Betty,
Right.
not just somebody sitting in a wheelchair.
Right.
This lady had a wonderful high school life. She was a wonderful teenager. She was a wonderful young wife. She was a mother. She raised and just all the journeys.
She danced. She loved to travel.
Yes.
She did all these good
Turned into a grandmother, and just everything was right there. But you couldn't see that in that wheelchair.
You know, that's in our community hospice inpatient centers. That's a number of the reasons, I'm sure, that a lot of the family caregivers bring in lots of pictures of their loved one's life from high school on, you know, just this is who this person is, not just the old decrepit body you see in the wheelchair.
Right. And it's not only good for the people that are surrounding your loved one to care. I mean, it's good for the person you're giving care to, because it reminds them of the good times and all the great things. And we should do that long before the end of day, for Pete's sake, and that's what the education processes we're trying to get to here. So
it's called celebrating life.
Yes, that's the first thing, is to reflect. Second thing is to record, and the third thing then is to support your decisions, whatever that may be. There are simple, easy ways to lock in today's prices for what you know you're going to need at some point in the future. That's the big decision. In our American history, funeral costs have nearly doubled in cost every 15 to 17 years. If you look back in American history on how much somebody paid for a funeral 20 years ago, it's about half of what it is today.
Wow.
It follows the price of gasoline and everything else in our world that goes up. So if you want to make a decision, you can, and you can support it with just low monthly payments, a limited pay, and find out about that kind of stuff.
Can I just stop you right here and say I'm glad I took care of my own future arrangements, and it is a very low monthly payment. I was surprised at how low it is, but I have the peace of mind now in knowing that my son, who's all I have left, doesn't have to go through the emotional crisis of trying to figure out all those logistics of funeral and burial and cremation and what she wanted, blah, 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 or pay for it when I'm gone. I feel good that I've taken care of it.
Yeah, that is the gift of love. That is the gift of love that mothers give. My mom did that in 1990, made a simple decision of what she wanted, visitation and all the stuff that I had no clue about. And I was glad for that, because my mom's journey through all hospice with Alzheimer's, you know, that's a debilitating disease. It really crippled her up from the beautiful woman she was. So the visitation process of the funeral was very healing for us, because when we first laid eyes on her for the very first time before her visitation, after the hospice episode, which was tough, because I closed my mom's eyes. We surrounded her. I played my guitar for her every day. We were there for her. But I was worried that I had that vision, that last vision of my mom in that condition. But through the visitation process, when I looked at her and she had her makeup on, her lips were on, her hair was combed, she had the beautiful white sweater and the purple Alzheimer's shirt, and a picture of our family, she looked healed to me from that. And it was so healing. So it's different for everybody. That's how you know.
Not what I wanted to do.
No. It's hard to say. But Mom looked good, I mean, honestly. And she didn't want flowers after she was gone. She wanted them while she was alive. And so we'd take flowers to her, because she asked for donations to be made to the Alzheimer's Association, and so we raised money at the end of her funeral for that. And so her wishes were lived out.
Carried out.
And that's the support she did.
That's the beauty that you can do when you plan ahead.
It's a
you
gift
put
of
your
love.
wishes down and appoint somebody to carry them out.
Exactly. So reflected what she wanted. She wrote it down. She supported it in her own way. She didn't ask me, her oldest son. She didn't ask her daughter. They didn't ask us what kind of house they bought. They didn't ask us about the car they drove. They went ahead and made those decisions. And after they made those, then they shared it with us. That's the fourth step, is share. So reflect, record, support, and share. Tell somebody what you want.
You have to.
It's the only way to keep people from guessing, is that what they would have wanted? Or did I do the right thing? Help yourself now when it's easier today than it will be then.
At that
it will be
time.
then, I promise you. You're in the thinking mind now, you're clear, and that's what we teach in our seminars. When you see my insert in the Times Union, it comes out on Thursday or Saturday or Sunday, you invite you to a restaurant around town, you can come and see me. I will help you through these steps, introduce you to knowledgeable folks, and you can talk about this when you're in a thinking mind.
And I'll have to say again, I went to one of those this week and watched you talk just so comfortably and casually with the people at the table. There was no high sales pressure or pitch. It was just trying to...
It's not the time.
No, this is definitely not the time. But it was nice that you were just trying to be there and be of comfort and help people plan for what they wanted. And that's what all we're really trying to get across to you today as caregivers. Joyce has said it. You have to make a lot of decisions for your loved one. Plan ahead so that in the moment, in the crisis, those decisions won't be so difficult to make.
Because the other type of family who just puts this off and doesn't want to talk about it, we kind of refer those families like the ostrich family. Because you know what ostriches are famous for.
Their head in the sand.
Ooh, don't be the ostrich family. Find help. Ask us. Right, Joyce?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the great things that happened through Heritage Giddens was for my husband and my father, who were both service. You know, my dad was in World War II and my husband was in Vietnam. And so they brought in the service people to do their wonderful thing. Oh my goodness, that was just such a blessing to me. And I found out that there's a cemetery for veterans right here in Jacksonville, where my father is now, and so that was
it's another gem that so many people don't know about, the Jacksonville National VA Cemetery, and it's beautiful. I was out there Wednesday, actually, and for a meeting, and learned that they now have 4,100 veterans buried there. And you think about it, it's only been open a couple of years. The demand is great. This is a veteran-rich environment. We have a lot of veterans, and we love our veterans.
And that speaks to it now. And we've got a veterans planning guide too, so you can stop in at any Heritage Giddens facility. There's a veterans planning guide, answers the questions to what Joyce mentioned about military honors. A lot of people ask us about that. And the government does a fine job if a veteran and his spouse wants to be buried at that national cemetery, but they do little to nothing to help you get there.
Right.
That's your funeral.
That's the funeral plan, and that's when you need Heritage Giddens to truly walk alongside you and care for you and help you plan this.
We have a veteran come home today.
We do have a veteran coming home today, who paid the price. Our thoughts and prayers are with that family.
Yes.
We do love our veterans and our military, and thank you, God, for all that they do to keep our country safe. And Lord, I do pray that you would be with that family today. And everybody take a second, take more than a second, take a few minutes to stop and pray for that family today. It's going to be a tough road.
And for those of you who maybe have lost your moms, we stand with you. It's Mother's Day. Tomorrow, Memorial Day, is at the end of this month. This is a month to remember. And
we're going to have a special Memorial Day service to, again, recognize and honor our military and our veteran. We're going to have some information on caregiving for the person who might be military or veteran.
Can I tell a really quick awesome
You've got about 10, 12 seconds because we're at the end of the show.
At the cemetery, the veteran cemetery, they had a 21-gun salute in a flyover, and I just took it as personal for my father, even though it wasn't.
You never know.
It was just awesome.
It was meant to be.
Absolutely.
It was.
As this show is. As
That's right.
Joyce's thoughts, and thank you, Tula, for having us on today.
Well,
You're a
happy
blessing.
to have you
Thank
here.
you.
This is Toulas Tips for Caregivers. We are here for you. Since you didn't call in today and you want to
Reach
talk to
out.
me,
Come
call
on.
me at 407-6211. The area code is 904-407-6211. We love you, caregivers, and
Bring
thank
it
you for
on.
what you
Yeah.
do.
God bless you.
Yes.
God bless you.